pay the same amount that I pay on a trailer in the cafe. I've got utilities and rent and stuff like that. So
just real quick on Lauren.
Oh, please.
She's on a roll.
Please.
They got their name trademarked this year.
Oh, congratulations.
So I told her I'd be interested in how that process worked. But some things, so she does work on the truck, not as often as she used to. She has an assistant. That was one of the people that she has hired to handle all her booking and stuff like that. So all the catering, all the booking. She essentially gets a schedule of where her trucks are going to be and works from there. So those eye rolls, Lauren, are of jealousy.
Fantastic.
Yeah, she got the assistant with the second truck, so it didn't come with the truck, but
she's been in business for how long now?
10-ish. I think that's right, Lauren. Right, 10 years now.
She can always come on as a guest if she'd like. I know she's busier than a one-arm pulpit bringer, but still, I appreciate her being on anyway. So I have to now. I think I'm a good judge of people.
Mm-hmm.
But I look at the cafe and I look at their hiring and who they've hired, and I know it's not the same, but I've got a lot of their employees wanting to come work for me because of hours. Because they hire people that they just work work part-time. So do I ask what they're making now? Does that matter? If they want to just fill in time with me, how do I approach that with their current employer, considering we're both part of the same building? Or do I just say, hey, I can't do anything until you're gone? And not worry about that part of headaches?
I would rather have my own employees than share employees. But
problem is their employees are really good. Like there's 2 or 3 that are like really good. One has helped me in the truck a few times and has taken to everything that I've done to where she can pump food out. She can, she's more of an introvert, so she could be somebody that I could use in the background. But I think it's what sucks is it's somebody that I could probably train to actually be like another me, somebody that could take care of the smoker, somebody could take care of meat. You know, loading meat in a smoker, I guess, isn't so hard, but it's more of the after part.
Like when it's done.
Yeah, pretty much.
How do you know when it's done? Like you can't set a temperature. Like pull the brisket off when it hits 202 because we all know, those of us that cook briskets know that it could be 190 and done.
Yeah. Every brisket's different.
202, you're at leather again.
Yeah.
So
it's just I'm looking at that and I'm looking at those people and they know. I think they're in it for the money because they know they could probably make more tips with me than they do there.
Lauren says set up expectations on when they are available and don't cross availability. So yeah, I agree with that. I would have them set They have availability for the cafe. They have availability for you, and those 2 availabilities cannot leak over. So if they're going to be, and I would do it by days. So they're available at the cafe to work cafe hours from on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and then they have availability for you Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, or whatever.
There's the 2 people that I'm talking to are actually 2 managers that work there, and they're pretty much 6 to 2, Monday through Friday. One person gets off at like 12:30 on Friday, so they don't get 40 hours. And I'm going to be open from 11 to 6, and maybe 11 to 8 in the summertime. So I know I could utilize a couple. I guess it's just like, do I worry about having more employees that have more availability, or just the 2 people that I know that could make it happen? You know what I mean? So they could work the weekends if they wanted to. I don't know how to cross that.
So you're being too wishy-washy, I think.
Well, I probably am.
Or do I stick with these 2 employees that could work the weekends if they wanted to? So that all needs to be, you need to set that as the expectation when you hire anybody. Like, I need somebody to be able to work weekends. I'm not saying you have to work every weekend, but when I do the schedule, you should plan on being available on the weekend unless I hear from you otherwise. I have 2 staff, and at this point, I am rarely on the truck.
Mm-hmm.
I've been interacting TikTok, you fucking dumb piece of shit. Fucking China. Just kidding. Yeah, they have given me, and Caleb works 2 jobs. Caleb has another job at another restaurant.
So does he work the same hours at that restaurant?
Every week, yeah.
Okay,
but that's based on the availability he gave me.
Correct.
So he has given me carte blanche of his schedule. So we're closed on Mondays, and he doesn't work Sundays for us because that's typically been the day that we've been up in Newaygo or over at Trail Point. It's just a day that Chris and I have just handled. So for his other job, he works on Sundays and Mondays. That's his availability there. Because I think with the food truck, because we're so, there's so many ebbs and flows and times and locations and the amount of time you're actually going to have to spend to either get to a location or maybe there's a week with additional prep. Like I could tell him that it's just 11 to 7, like service hours. But if we have a big event, we're going to need him a little bit earlier because there's going to be some prep time involved. Or there may be an instance where we're meeting at my house and then leaving from there to go out. So it could. Yeah. So for me, I think it works better just to have set days. And he's always said that, if you need me on a Sunday or whatever, just let me know. And I just need a couple weeks so I can let my other job know.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So I think you need to be very upfront, and this will help you get the people you need. It's not I might need you some weekends. I need you available when we're busiest. Which are going to be weekends.
So do I just keep the people that I know that can work the truck working the truck and then worry about hiring for the cafe?
I mean, you can definitely cross over between the two.
That's the tough part. Pay is going to be different.
Why? Why are you gonna pay somebody differently hourly on the truck versus in the cafe?
Because of what I've already paid them. I can't go down. I can go down for the cafe because I have overhead, and I've explained it to them if they work the cafe.
Because you're not paying your people, you're paying them under the table, and you're paying them a straight amount for a day versus an hourly wage.
Hypothetically, no, I'm paying them per hour for sure. How many hours they work? Yes, not per day.
So what's their hourly rate?
$20 an hour.
And you don't want to pay somebody in the cafe that?
No.
Why not? Aren't they doing the same work?
No, they're not. So and this is where my problem comes in, like me, is I want to be hands-on. And if I'm getting to that point where if I'm going to pay somebody to do something, I'm not going to pay somebody $20 an hour to stand at a window and take orders. So I want everybody.
Isn't that what you're doing on the truck, though?
I would rather do that and have them put food together.
Okay.
I'm going to pay them. I want them to do it. I have one girl that refuses to wash dishes because there might be food on there. But she's reliable. That's the downside. So it's like, yeah. Anyway, so.
Boy, you've got yourself a set of people.
Yeah. The problem is they're reliable. And so I'm thinking, I have one person that I would love to make up, like almost a manager of my food truck, but she's got another job that pays her more than I could. So that's now she can work weekends and she has a lot of flexibility. So, but she can't tow, so I have to do that. So I'm navigating different lands and.
For your reference, so you can set people up in Square, I believe. So when you clock in, you have to select your job duty. You can assign multiple job duties to one staff member, and those job duties can have different pay rates. So if you have somebody that's doing both, when they clock in at the cafe, and you can make those job duties location dependent. So if they're logging in on the POS at the cafe, they can't select food truck, and then their
Now,
pay rate can accommodate that. And what you can tell these people who are complaining that they're getting paying less at the cafe is that there is less drive time or expectation of travel with the cafe versus the food truck between location and location.
so question, I can't remember. Damn it.
Justin says Skippy didn't listen last week.
What?
You're in the people business. That includes your own people too.
I completely understand.
So for me, I would pay everybody the same.
But I can't go down is where I'm going with that.
I understand, but I would be fine paying those people the 20.
So if Caleb did nothing other than take payments at, like, he didn't come in for prep, his job was to take payments.
Okay.
Like, that's.
I wouldn't have hired him.
I completely understand.
I don't hire that way.
So you need somebody that can do everything.
Yes. And you hire accordingly.
Correct. So that's where I'm missing. The people that have been reliable to me have not been somebody that can do everything, because I wanted to be hands-on. I got myself into that problem. And now I have two people that I know that can be hands-on.
Can anybody clip this part out for me?
What?
Miss Taylor, it's me. I'm the problem.
Whatever. I made myself the problem because of how I chose to be in charge.
I wanted to be the face of my business.
I still do. I have no problem being the face.
And you can do that without being your mug in the window.
I understand. So, but if I'm going to pay somebody, I want them to be able to do what I do. I guess that's kind of the thing. If I'm going to pay somebody if you're going to pay
somebody what you're making,
$20,
then they need to do the things you're doing. Are you making $20 an hour, or are you making more than $20?
I don't know what the fuck I'm making. I have money in the bank, and that's kind of what we're rolling towards. But that actually leads me to my next.
Pam, you want to chime in on Accounting 101?
I can't pay myself a salary.
A positive bank balance is not an indication of a profitable business.
No, positive bank balance and my bills being paid is a profitable business. Anyway,
why can't you pay yourself a salary?
No.
Why not?
Because I'm a sole proprietor. Can't pay myself a salary.
So change it.
But why do I want to? I get better tax deductions being a sole proprietor than I do an S corp.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I've gone through it.
Individually, you do.
Well, yeah.
But so you're never gonna have yourself on payroll?
I don't know. This may change it because I might need the extra tax deductions.
Yeah. So S corp, I think that's what I'm probably doing this winter is changing myself over to S corp. But you should still be giving yourself owner distributions.
My owner distribution is my mortgage. My mortgage payment.
I understand. Okay, so you know how much you get paid a year.
Okay, correct. I can do that.
There we go. You're not paying yourself. You are making money. You are paying myself personal bills. Yes. No, you are paying yourself a distribution.
Correct.
Yeah. Lauren says once you hit a certain sales threshold, each tax classification makes sense in a different way. So Skippy's got a good probably decade then before he has to worry about switching.
That's a dick.
Sorry, Skippy. That was mean.
I pay myself about $19,560 a year. My mortgage payment times 12.
All right.
I mean, I can add
Man,
my truck. I can add my truck payment into that, but I'm not
I
sure if
wish I
that
had your
counts.
mortgage payment. Well, your truck payment should be a business expense, right?
It is. So that's under the
So it
business
doesn't
part.
count. Yeah.
I get it. So this is what I pay myself. Technically.
Lauren, if I am not mistaken,
Oh boy.
so she said she's still an LLC, but could switch to an S corp. My understanding of those structures is that you are not allowed to have yourself as a sole proprietor or majority owner of an LLC and be on payroll, which is where we're into owner distributions over actual paycheck. So I have a couple meetings set up hopefully in the next couple of weeks. So get that. So okay, you're not on payroll. Okay, excellent. You're paying yourself, but not on payroll. Excellent.
So that leads me to the next thing. Tips. Right? Tips. No. With a P. With a P
Gotcha.
there, fella. P.
Show took a turn.
Takes a turn every week. The owner of the company technically isn't allowed to collect tips or share in tips. I said the word technically, maybe hypothetically, or tips should always go to hourly workers of some sort.
I mean, you go back and look at all the food truck groups, and you'll see about 1,000 threads with 1 billion comments. I don't know what the law states. I understand. So yeah, Lauren, that's the point, Lauren. So Lauren says, what happens when you're the owner and working solo? Then absolutely. I think tip sharing though is where we get into a great thing. I think it's more if it is an actual law. I think it's more based on restaurant work, where you have shift managers or restaurant managers sharing in tips when they're not actually being part of the wait staff or being part of the kitchen staff. So I do not collect tips. I'm not a part of the tip share unless I'm.
Are you okay?
Oh my god! No, I saw your cat. And for whatever reason, my brain.
Oh yeah, she's right there.
My brain said it was behind me.
Fucking weird.
And that's when I looked. I was like, "No, there's no. She's right there. That's not my house."
Oh, that's Callie. She's been around the block a couple times. She's missing half a tail.
So yeah, the only way I ever have tip collection for me is if I'm solo. So Caleb works with me on the truck for the day alone with just me, then he gets 100% of the tips.
Okay. Is that a Josh decision or is that a legal decision?
I don't know. But I'm fine with it. I don't need to make the tips. Yeah, it doesn't bother me either way. I would rather take care of them over me. So
you run a
they love working with me.
I can imagine. I get that. So how do you deal with Chris being on salary?
So still for Square, he still has to punch in order. So he punches in on the register.
Yeah.
And that's when his tip collection starts. He doesn't get tips when he's not punched in.
Freaking put that in there. I don't have people punch in. I got to do that.
So yeah, if you're not clocked in on Square, you're not collecting tips, regardless if you're salaried or not. Okay. So he doesn't earn an hourly wage when he clocks in. It's the same. It functions the same way. It only accounts for tips. So where it gets a little, where we have to manage it on our side. Sorry, Lauren. Shared tips. She has shared tips on shifts. I do not take tips if I'm not on the truck or if I'm not working. Yep.
But so hold on. Does that mean that she does take tips if she is on the truck?
I'm gonna say I'm assuming yes, based on how she worded it.
Okay.
What was I saying? Oh, where we have to manage things a little bit more. So, like, let's say we have a wedding the following weekend. She says 50% of the time. Okay.
Depends on how good or bad they are.
um, so let's say we have a wedding on Saturday. They pay their invoice on Monday when we're closed, so no one's clocked in. Okay, they leave a tip. So by default, if there is 0 people clocked in, it automatically stays in the bank account. It doesn't get distributed to anybody. So essentially, the owner gets it. Make sense?
Oh, yes. Okay. Yes.
So let's say, but Caleb and Chris are working that wedding on the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
So they wouldn't, when I run payroll, I have to make the adjustment to distribute those tips to Chris and Caleb so that way they're getting the tips for the wedding they actually worked.
Oh, okay. So if you sent an invoice and I always click, allow tips, and a tip
It's always
comes
on
in
there.
and
Yep.
it's paid, you then have to go in for that wedding that's due or that's happening next week
and make an adjustment on the payroll. Yep.
How does it?
It's more cumbersome when someone pays while we're open.
Yeah, I can tell.
And then for whatever, it's just me or it's just Chris working a wedding or whatever, doing a drop off.
Gotcha.
And that the tips are then distributed to whoever's punched in, Chris, Caleb, and Pam or whatever.
Yeah.
So then I got to there's just adjustments that have to be made. But it's not a huge deal. It doesn't happen that often. I make a little note, and then when I run payroll, you just do it.
So I just Googled, can owners of restaurants receive tips? According to Fair Labor Standards Act, FLSA, restaurant managers can only keep tips they receive directly from customers for services they provide.
Yep. So if you're not doing the work, you don't get the tip.
Okay.
So yes, if you are on the truck and working, legally you could.
As long as I'm physically working, then it's possible. Otherwise, if I'm not there, so if the restaurant, let's say the cafe and the food truck are working simultaneously, whichever one, yeah, okay, that fair enough. That makes sense. 4.
Lauren says, I split tips individually by shifts worked. For large events where shifts overlap, I split by hours. Lauren, are you using Square by chance? So any online tips are done automatically by whoever's punched in. And then like in an instance where shifts overlap or someone's not working a full day, you cash out cash tips at the end of whenever that person leaves and split however you need to split them.
And this is why I asked, because like, let's just say, so that Saturday that I opened the cafe for like the parade, we did like $775 in sales. And of that, like basically 10% went in tips. So it's like the person that was making $15 an hour. I mean, granted, I was working, I was putting food together. She was the hostess and stuff like that. So, but I mean, it makes sense. I get it. Okay. I got to put you on mute though. Please hold.
Okay. So yeah, curious what everybody else does. Oh, sorry. Justin says he had a wedding this weekend, had one of my part-timers with me. We got a tip. I split it with him. Workload was 70-30, me to him. Tip was split 50-50. Yep. I have no problem not taking part in any of the tips. Thank you, Lauren. Lauren is not using Square. She is unhappy with her current POS and is looking to be switching sometime. So currently using Lightspeed or what used to be Shopkeep, she said. And they, okay, well, on the truck, only the employees get the tips. Yeah, for most weddings, we've got it set up in a lot of our any buffet style stuff. I mean, yeah, I'm doing a lot of the work. As far as the cooking goes and stuff like that. I mean, but when we get to there, and I mean, we're helping with setup, and then as far as refilling pans and stuff, I mean, Chris and Caleb are doing the majority of that. So we're set up pretty well now. Where if it's two of us, one person is kind of managing the table. Since we don't serve, we're just refilling pans, letting everybody self-serve. And then our other person for them to go get refilled pans if they're not right there. So a lot of cases, there's a lot of running around for those guys. Like I said, I don't have a problem with it. In the end, my potential earnings are far surpassing what they are making. So I need a little bit that I can help them. I will. So, yeah, we've had it. There has been an instance where there's been a ludicrous tip left. I think we were at one event where it was like a $600 tip. Chris hands me some money. He's like, I don't feel right not giving you some of this. So, and it's you're grateful, and it's like, okay, thanks, but I said you don't have to. I said, that's just kind of the way that we work. So, Justin says he's got the Skippy problem with catering. I want to be doing the running and working. My help is helping. Yep. Lauren's best day was over $900. Was that a piece or for the whole truck? 900 a piece is pretty freaking awesome. I'm going to guess split it 6 ways. Nice. As far as Skippy wanting to do the work, Skippy doesn't want to step away, I don't think. And he doesn't want to, he's getting to the point now where he has to manage instead of work. And that was kind of where I started adjusting. It's like, that was my goal. So I started early with those expectations. And I'm lucky to have Chris, 100%. And I'm happy to pay him what he is being made. And as far as food truck employees go, he's probably grossly overpaid. But for me, he's worth every penny, Two on the truck split as $800 tip day. That's pretty good. That's a pretty good day for those two people. So yeah, for me, I didn't want to get myself so locked in to working on the truck. And I love working on the truck. I love serving the people. But for me, it was never about having a truck. So we always saw it as a growth thing. So every chance we could, we work towards that with the people that we hire and the expectations of those people. So that's why I tried not to get locked in with one person doing one task. For the most part, everybody can do everything. Pam is probably our semi-exception, where she was our order taker. But she did dishes and everything. The only thing she wasn't comfortable doing was making food. And it's not that she couldn't. She just didn't want to. She didn't want to be fast at it. So, but if we stepped off the truck for 10 minutes to run into the bathroom at wherever we were at or whatever, and someone came up, she would make the food. So, hey, Skippy.
Hi, I'm back.
Lots of good tip talk going.
Damn, I missed it. I'll have to go back and listen to my own podcast.
Yeah, we need the listeners, man. Come on.
That was actually good timing because dogs were walking in front of my door, and my dogs can see them and decided to bark. So, anyway.
Let me catch you up a little bit. Lauren is currently using Lightspeed, which used to be ShopKeep.
Yes,
she says she's been having lots of issues, so she's probably switching. So all of her employees clock in and out, and shifts are documented that way. Lauren, the reason I asked was because Square automatically divvies those up for any clocked in employee. So I'm not sure if ShopKeep does it that way, but she said her best day for tips was over $900, and that got split 6 ways. Last year, so she averages $50,000 to $60,000 a year in credit card tips.
Jesus.
That's the average for the past 4 years. Granted, she's doing. I wonder what the percentage that.
What was
sales?
What was that dollar amount?
50 to 60 a year in credit card tips. That doesn't include cash. But our cash to credit card ratio for for tips, it's so we're doing 35% in cash. Our tips are probably 10% cash.
Yeah. Did you run your numbers? See what your tip was?
I got it. I'll have to go look real quick.
I got mine.
So she's at 600,000 yearly sales. So they're right about 10%.
Congratulations.
Thank you for answering the question. I was tiptoeing around.
Thank you.
And she says, Lauren says everyone that works for her tries to do everything. So, and that's kind of what I was talking about a little bit was, it's hard to get yourself from, if you are, and that's why I never wanted to be solo too, is because you're going to get yourself so ingrained in working the truck that it's hard then to peel yourself back out to manage your business.
Yeah.
So I was always in the mindset, like there was a clear path about where to get. So every step we took, every person that was hired was a step to get me closer to being able to manage the business versus run the business.
Absolutely.
And we've talked about that a lot. And you asked me if I was worried about not being the face. I don't care. Like I can be the face of the business through social media and everything else. Dave Thomas isn't working in a restaurant, but he's the face of Wendy's.
Isn't he dead?
Missing the point, Skippy.
Oh.
He's dead and he's still the face of the business. See, you don't have to be there.
No, Wendy is the face of the business.
Yeah, whatever. Still,
I understand. I get where you're going. That's something that we're gonna.
So yeah, I mean, when you're focused on just working, like I'm the sandwich maker for the truck, then it's easy to hire somebody that only does order taking.
Correct.
So if you are in the mindset from the get-go of, I don't want to be on this vehicle full time, then when you're hiring people, those expectations are a lot different. Then I just need you to take orders. I just need a warm body to take some orders. And we've been there. I mean, we've had those needs from time to time with some part-time people. You know, like, I need you for like the next month and a half. I just need you to take some orders. I was that way when we did the winter service. It was pretty much, I just need somebody to sit in the window and take orders. So, we got comments flying all over the place.
I love comments. Please.
I need more screens.
You've got 17 of them already.
I know. The problem is I'm streaming on all 3 of them and the comments are separated. It makes it very hard to keep up.
There's a 100-inch TV. It's on sale at Sam's. Throw that on.
Justin says he wants the same as well. Just need to keep growing. Not there yet. So until then, I'm going to work. Justin Harris, was it the IRS calling about tips?
No. It's actually a potential catering gig for next week. So
excellent. Lauren says she loves working on the truck. That's why my assistant does the stuff I don't want to. And yeah, I mean, you do hire the people to do the work that you don't necessarily want to do on the back end. So the business stuff, like if you're not good at accounting, hire an accountant. If you're not good at marketing, social media, hire a kid to do some social media stuff for you. And for social media, make it performance-based pay. Pay them $10, $15 an hour, and then give them bonuses for growing your accounts. If you hit these metrics, if we engagements up over from month to month, if our brand grows from, oh my God, Skippy, he complains that, blah, 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 we don't have any good things to talk about. And then we get some good things to talk about, and all of a sudden we can't get a flow in. He'll blame me. Oh, it's just more Josh being Josh, and I'm talking to Josh, blah, 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 blah. I love working on the truck too. I really do enjoy it. But my vision is my vision. So I don't trust that to anybody else at the moment. I'm good at that portion. So I enjoy talking to people. I enjoy the back end talking to people too. So we'll do that. Lauren says, my assistant does all of that, answers emails, books events, social media, runs errands, picks up food and propane, and takes photos. Yeah. I will be definitely willing to hand that off. Lauren, like I said, once we get to another, either a second truck or we have some sort of walk up cafe type of situation that Skippy's kind of working towards, which I think is, regardless of how we want to go, that's probably the next step. Lauren says her assistant is her sister, so the trust level is definitely there. So yeah, once we get to where we have multiple locations or multiple trucks or locations, like if we had a brick and mortar, even a small one like Skippy's running, like I know for a fact that once that opens, like that is where my time will have to be devoted to make sure that we get that to the level that we want it to, and that's where all of my resources, mentally and physically, will probably go, is to make sure that staff there is doing what we need it to do. And before that other location opens, those staff will be working in the truck with Chris, with me, with Caleb. So Lauren says she's convinced she can make more money on the truck, but barbecue's different. Do you mean if you are physically on the truck versus being off the truck? And I would agree, Lauren, that you are very much the culture of your truck.
Culture is great. I'd love to just, I wish Lauren had like 30 minutes, and she's given us so much time right now.
She says she's usually available on Monday, so I'll talk to her tonight when I see her at our Christmas party.
I will send her a gift card if she comes on.
Don't get too excited. He's not great with delivering on prizes and gifts. Yes, we have voicemail in Michigan.
First of all, go fuck yourself. Okay? Second of all, Jason didn't win. He cheated. Cheaters never win.
A brick and mortar wouldn't make as much money as a food truck.
See, that's what I'm that's what I'm struggling with, because I think it will. I think it has a chance. Like in my all right, here's my goals, and I'm just throwing this in there.
And Lauren says barbecue is different, and it is. But
so my goal right now is $500 a day for the 4 days a week that we're open. So $2,000 a week. That's my goal. Whether it's $100 the first day and $1,900 the last day and nothing in between, I'm gonna cry if there's nothing in between. But the local restaurant that just opened after 2 years of being under construction did now granted they're higher end. Oh
Lauren
boy.
says your goal is lame.
It is. And I understand it, but I think the population of the village that I'm in is also 1,300 people. So I'm when I set my food truck goal, it was $500 a day,
Mm.
and I'm at $250,000, and I'm happier than a pig in shit. But if I can do if I can do 100 grand just in this, it'll pay itself. Like, and this is a stepping stone to hopefully more adventures. So
Yeah.
the lady that I just got off the phone with has a sporting goods store in the area that is ordering catering from us, for Christmas. And today I'm actually dropping off a catering to a local restaurant that is using us because I'm like, well, it's awesome. So I'm starting to get noticed in the area that I want to get noticed in, and but that's why it's only $500 a day. If I can do one catering a month, it pays the rent, pays the utilities. That's the goal. I could care less, honestly, if I'm open. The whole thing is to get the business away from the damn house, and being open
Yeah.
is just a side effect. Sorry.
And I 100% agree with you. Lauren says she knows people that have reputable restaurants in downtown Grand Rapids that don't make as much in sales as she does. 100% agree. And even if they were matching your sales, their profit margins are so much smaller because of rent.
Thank you for calling me out for being lame. I definitely appreciate it.
It's just nice to hear somebody else say it.
Yes.
Yeah, overhead on a brick and mortar is ridiculous.
Yeah, considering what I just went through.
So yeah, kind of where Skippy is. He needs to get his trailer away from his house. There isn't a commissary option where he is. For me to get to a second truck, they both need to get out of my yard. I don't have room for a second one. I'm not going to put in additional electrical at my house to be able to accommodate a second truck. And I don't have space. I just don't have the room to put in another one. That's not going to make my house look like white trash more than it already kind of does where the trailer is. My little stack of pallets from sauce and things. And so when you start looking at commissary space and stuff like that, and the amount to pay for a commissary space, and then the storage that I would like to have, the storage space that I would like to have, for me, I would rather find a location for low rent.
Yeah, because you're into it $1,500-$1,700 a month,
Yeah,
just with utilities and having a second truck, and
yep. So if I can get into a small space that I can do a small kitchen in, then why not open the front door and do some counter service?
Absolutely.
So, where you can likely at least pay the rent and utilities on the space that you're renting. So, and that's kind of where my thought is. That's why that's kind of the next step, is to be able to get trailers away from the house. So, she says find a couple other businesses and set one up, and that's what she did. So,
yeah, there's a commissary that was just set up by one of the Detroit food trucks. They own a couple. It's called Impasto. Well-known food trucks over on this side of the world, this side of the state. And they set up, it's Detroit area food truck team, or it's called Daft. But what they charge is redonkulous, maybe, for what I would need it for. Monthly, hourly rates, things like that. Yeah, so I've been cautiously optimistic about this whole thing, and if it doesn't work in a year, I'm out.
Yeah,
And we'll figure out what to do from there. I mean, a restaurant has always been my dream, and if this is a stepping stone to a bigger one, or a bigger place, or my own building, or whatever, then I think I'm young enough where I can see if it works without pulling my hair out.
You're a baby. That's what all of us need to realize, is that we're still so young. So, yeah. Was that for both trucks or just the one truck, Lauren? So we have a place downtown Grand Rapids called Prep Space. I actually looked into them. So for both her trucks, she was at $2,200 a month.
Yeah, that's how. I mean,
and probably not enough storage as you would like. And that was where I was. So I had looked at it, and for us, we were doing drinks and coolers, so we were spending $20 a day plus in ice, to fill our coolers. And for just me to park the truck down there with electricity, I had access to ice. It was $600. I was like, well, shit. I can almost make up the cost just in the ice to justify it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, well, then I got to drive down, and we're cooking barbecue overnight. Like, I'm on the truck at 4:00 in the morning. Like, then everything.
Are you keeping your pop in your fridge right now?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
Yep. We have say 2, 4, 7. I think we can fit 7 across in our little spring-loaded dispenser thing.
Mm-hmm.
It just takes up one shelf. It's the best thing I've ever bought.
Yep.
For the truck, great. I think. Yeah. Yeah, we all need some capital, Justin.
Always taking investors. Justin, always taking investors.
Lauren says it cost her about $15,000 to set up the space that she has, not that she did herself, and her rent with her co-tenants went down to $1,500. So,
yeah,
I mean, paying for itself.
What's your square footage?
Don't you know?
Well, that's why I'm asking. You're not the only one who can ask questions. Damn it! God. Now you wonder why I say it's all Josh all the time. I can't even ask damn questions. Gosh.
She said they all put in about the same amount of money. Is that the one? Is that the space in Wyoming, Lauren?
Oh, of course you can.
City, not state. And what's the square footage of the building?
Oh, there you
go. Justin says he is convinced if Spaghetti Monster was a restaurant here, it would do 700. Okay. So he just needs the capital. 7,000 square feet.
Split between. Okay. Huh?
Yeah.
So it cost her $15,000 to get her space up and running.
Yeah. So if I could get the right space, and Hudsonville's a little better price than some other areas in Grand Rapids. 2 buses and 8 trucks in there currently. 2 buses. 2 bones. But yeah. So yeah, I can't imagine there's too many people then left downtown. So be interested to see if they adjust their rates at all.
Tonight's your Grand Rapids Food Truck Association Christmas party, isn't it?
Yep.
Oh, you're finally part of the cool kids.
Yeah, I know. They let me into the mob.
Well,
I can never leave.
They don't know what they're getting themselves into.
Yeah, I'm sure I'll get kicked out. Yeah.
He's going to run it like a schoolyard bully.
Nope. No drama from me. So yeah, if I can get the right space, I mean, even if it's only 2,500 square feet, 3,000 square feet, like I don't need a ton. Yeah, enough room for me to be able to do a decent kitchen. I don't need a full commercial kitchen. I would like to have an oven, and some baking space, some room for some large commercial mixers. But yeah, then a counter and 5, 6 tables that I can sit 20 people inside of, maybe. Then yeah, why not? A 20-seat little cafe. I'd feel pretty confident in being able to pay the rent on the building.
Sure.
And being able to cover those expenses that way. So, maybe I'm wrong, maybe not, but And if you do it the way you did it, and I mean, build the kitchen small, get it to where it passes health inspection, and then add equipment as needed. And as you grow a little bit, then yeah, I mean, you can, equipment wise, you can get in pretty cheap. But so yeah, all right, we are way over, and I have a haircut finally. Scheduled for the day, so we gotta wrap this bad boy up. I appreciate everybody. Oh, what?
No, I said, yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought you had something.
No, I do not have something.
Okay. Well, appreciate everybody with the comments and joining in on the conversation today. It definitely makes it a whole lot easier for us to talk. See you later, Lauren. See you tonight. Yeah, it helps us help you, I guess. And we get as much out of you guys as you guys get out of us. So thank you very much, everybody, for listening in. Next week, we should be... Stay tuned for next week's time. I'm working. Yeah, we have catering every day next week. So we might have to do an evening show.
Time no man gets back to work.
I know. Not really looking forward to it.
Woot woot. All right, people.
All right, guys. Everybody have a good week. Sell or relax, whatever you're doing. So peace out, everybody. Have a good one. Bye.
Woo.